What's up, y'all? Today we're going to be working on a Ford F-150. This will be the two-wheel drive. On this project we're going to be replacing the upper control arm in the front. We're going to be replacing the driver's side and the passenger side. But with this demonstration, I'm just going to replace one side in this video, and you can get the idea and you can replace the other side. The part number for the upper control arm for the vehicle is VCA8465 for the left side. I'm sorry, for the right hand side, and then VCA8468 for the left side. So this one is for the right and this one is for the left. First thing we're going to do is jack the vehicle up, and make sure you use a jack stand. First we need to take the wheel cover off. Now we will need to take the lug nuts off to take the wheel off. Once we've taken off the wheel, now you can access the upper control arm on the vehicle. So first thing we're going to do is this needs to be removed. That's a Cotter pin. Once we pull that pin off, then we can take that nut off of this upper ball joint. So let's start on that first. So you can either use a regular plier or a needle nose, and what you're going to do is you're going to bend these straight, these Cotter pins. So here is the old Cotter pin, and the part, when you buy a new part, it'll come with a new one. If it doesn't, you know, at the auto store, they're not that much, they're a few cents, but you're gonna have to put a new one in. So what we're gonna do next is take this nut off the ball joint of the upper control arm, and what you're going to use is a 21mm, and I'm going to use a pry bar. And before we get to that, I wanted to show y'all how y'all can test how, if the control arm is worn, the upper control arm. You can get a pry bar and put it in between, and if it moves up and down, or if you shake the wheel, you can actually hear it clunk. Here, I'll put this on there and you'll hear a clunk noise. You hear that? That identifies that the upper control arm is out of grease and worn, and the bushing is all worn out. But I'll show you more in depth when I take it off. But what we're going to do now is break that loose. And it's on there pretty tight, so it might take a little work. So what I did was I used my impact gun, and I put it on a extender with a swivel. Okay, and I got it underneath and was actually able to knock the bolt off, So next what we're going to do is right here, this is the ABS cable that goes, or the speed sensor cable that goes to the wheel bearing. So it's just clipped on with this clip, so we're just gonna, it's already unclipped, so we'll just pull it loose and pull that to the side. So what's next is we're gonna go ahead and loosen the nut and bolt to the top here. Because this is under the vehicle and it drives through rain and snow and all that other stuff, and it's never been changed and whatnot, these nuts and bolts are going to be pretty tight, so it's always good to get it lubricated. Get it ready so we can break it loose, and we'll let that sit for a little. So the two sockets that we're going to use is a 21mm and a 13/16. They both fit on the nuts and bolts. So I'm going to go ahead and break that loose. And here's the nut. That's and there's the bolt. We'll go ahead and keep that together. And we'll do the same thing to the other side. There's the nut. And the bolt. So, just to warn y'all, there's a washer on the end where the nut sits. And it looks like this. So keep in mind that this might come off, and we gotta put it back. So we'll keep that together, the nut and the bolt. So now keep in mind, now the bolts and the nut is removed, this knuckle is gonna fall out, so it's gonna fall forward like so. Okay, So next, what we need to do is remove that upper ball joint that's connected to the knuckle of the wheel. And there's a few ways you can do it, but there's also a special tool that you can use. It's kind of like a pulley, but more of a push. So before we take that ball joint off the knuckle, we're going to lubricate it. So this is the tool that I'm going to use to remove that ball joint, and it's going to be this larger one here, and then we're going to use this to push so basically this is going to sit and screw onto there like so. And then we'll just get this and it'll set in there. And then we'll put it on that bolt there, and then we'll turn that bolt, and then it'll push that out. So I'm going to put this onto there. And then I'm going to use a socket wrench to turn that, and then it should pop that out. And there you have it. See how that releases the ball joint from the knuckle? Just a slow press or push, and then it'll knock out. And all it took was this simple tool. You don't need a hammer or whatnot. You can get it at your local automotive or auto parts store. You can rent it or you can buy it. I would, if you do a lot of these, even if you don't, they're not that expensive. I would have those a kit handy. So let's put the old one next to the new one. So here's the old one and here's the new one. As you can see on the old ball joint, you can just wiggle that around, turn it, and there's no bushing, and that's bad. Okay, for the new one, you can barely move it. It's tight, and that's a good thing. All right. Now I noticed there's no new Cotter pin, so good thing I have some. But like I said, if you don't have a new one, just go pick one up. And then as you can see, these end right here, The bushing is in good shape. This one, it started to crack and everything, but it was all right. It wasn't bad at all, but it's this that needed to be replaced. Now you're probably wondering, can you just replace the ball joint? Well, maybe if you can find the part, but it's really difficult to press off and press on, as you can see. So it's better to buy the whole assembly and just take it off and put it on. One less job. So let's put the new one on. So I just want to keep y'all noted on this. When you buy the new one, it's gonna have a plastic cover on the boot, and that's just for you know, because it's brand new, and they want to, when they sell it to customers, they want the boot to be protected, so they put this plastic cover over it. But when you put this on the vehicle, you need to take that plastic cover off, and you don't need it. Okay, this rubber bushing is gonna set on the knuckle. So first things first, what we're gonna do is go ahead and put the upper control arm on the knuckle. Then we'll go ahead and put the nut on. Like so. And we'll tighten that later. I also want to show y'all on the top of the upper tie rod for the ball joint. Right here, there's a hole for you to put the filler for grease. Make sure the ABS cable or the speed wheel sensor, make sure it's on the top of the upper control arm. Now we're going to push this in. And we're going to go ahead and try to slide the bolt in. Now let's not forget this piece right here that goes into this side. I want to say it's called a spacer. And we'll put the nut on. Okay, and we won't tighten that in until we get this other side in. And then we'll get the nut and bolt and push that in. And as you can hear, on this side had a spacer as well. When we pushed the bolt in, it popped it out, so we pushed that back in. And then put the nut on. All right. So now we're going to tighten everything in. Remember, lefty loosey, righty tighty. this side. This side is tight. We clamped this sensor cable down. So now we're going to tighten this bolt up and put the cotter pin in. It looks like with the new bolt, it's a little bit larger. So it upsized to a 22 millimeter. Actually, a perfect fit would be a 7/8. So we're going to go under there and tighten that up. What would make this a lot easier is with the swivel and an extended swivel and an extension. Alright, and so now we need the cotter pin, and we'll stick that cotter pin in. So the upper control arm part did come with this plug so we can put grease in it, and it did come with a cotter pin. It would make sense that it did. So we'll go ahead and put this cotter pin in. and bend it. Once you're able to bend it, then that part is complete. So last and not least, what we're going to need to do is this filler plug. We need to put it at the top of the ball joint of the upper control arm, and that's going to be, to screw that in, is a 7mm. And then you grab your grease gun and you grease it up. Stick your grease gun on there. I don't know how y'all's grease gun work, but mine's a twisty type of deal. And then you grease it up. Once you grease it up and then you hear it pop, that means it's all good. And you can keep that filler tip on there, and for next time if you need to grease it up, but the grease won't come out from that top. Well, the job is done. Everything is greased up and tightened, and that's how you replace a upper control arm. After that, common sense, put the wheel on, torque the wheel, jack it down, and you're good to go. With this note being said, after you have replaced this, you need an alignment done. So keep that in mind after replacing the upper control arm or anything that deals with the suspension or wheel. You're going to have to get an alignment. If this helped out and you liked the video, please like it. Please leave any comments. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'll be making new videos every week and posting them. Thank you for checking the video out, and hopefully it's been helpful. Thank you. After you're done installing everything and everything's completed, you put the wheel back on, torqued it down. Now it's time for an alignment.
Perfect.